Yud Amud Beis. We'll begin Yud Amud Aleph, 2 lines from the bottom. So we were discussing the Maisa with Elisha Novi, Chizkiyahu Melech, that Chizkiyahu Melech was sick. He wasn't Isaac before Ravu. He thought he saw Ben Nevuah, that he would have a Ben who was a Rasha. And he said to Elisha that, give me your daughter in marriage, your schos, my schos, maybe it will overturn the Gzeira that he would not be Zoicha to Olam Haba, that he would die, and he would die 2 deaths. And Elisha Novi said it's too late, Kfar Nigzer Gzeira. Chizkiyahu Melech said, no, that I have a Kabbalah, that afilu cherev chada munach al tzavor shel adam, even if there's a sword on a person's neck, al yimnas min arachmim, it's never too late. Itmanami Rabbi Yochanan v'Elazar dami tarvayo afilu cherev chada munach al tzavor shel adam, al yimnas min arachmim shenemar hein yikteluni loy ayachel. They're about to kill the person. He still davens to Hashem. For Yeshua. It's never too late. Amar Rav Chanan, continuing on the same theme. Amar Rav Chanan, who mays, even if with a chaloimas, the ones who tell the future, they tell the person that tomorrow he's going to die. Al yimnas min arachmim shenema ki beroiv chaloimas va'avol dvorim harbe kisalakim esalakim yoreh. And in spite of everything, esalakim yoreh, have yiras Hashem, even if they tell you these things can be divrei havolim, can be empty words. Always down to Hashem. Miyad. So immediately, Vayasef Chizkiyahu panav el hakir vayispalel Hashem. He turned to the kir, to the wall, and he davened to the Shem. My kir, what does it mean, the kir? Omar of Shem and Ben Lakish, Mikiris Libai. It means from his inners, from the walls of his heart, from the kiris Libai, from his pnimius, he davened to Hashem. Shenema, may I, achila kiris libi. I cry out to Hashem, I beseech my Hashem from my innards, from my pnimius. Rabbi Levi Amar Ali Iskei Akir. He says, matters, he davened to Hashem, referring to Iskei Akir, to the wall, to the Maisa with the wall. What was that Maisa? The Shunamis, as we'll see, the Maisa of the Shunamis, she did a Taiva Chesed for Elisha. She built him a kir. When he was traveling, passing by, she built a kir for him, for his lodging. And just that one chesed, Echye says, Beno, you restored her son to life, your Machaya Mesim, Avi Abba, Shechofes, and Heichal Kula Bekesev Ezop. My forefather, Shlomo Melech, adorned the Beis HaMikdash, the Heichal, with Kesev, the gold and silver, Alachas Kama V'Kama. So for the Schus Avais, you should, for this, do this nace for me. Remember all the chasodim that I went before you, and all the good that I did, and all the tzidkas that I did. And my what is it referring to specifically when it says I did that was good in your eyes? He davened to Hashem, and he was semach gula l'tfilah, so he davened a proper davening. Rabbi Levi Amar Shagana Sefer Refuas. The taiv that it's referring to is that he hid the Sefer Refuas. There was a Sefer Refuas that people could have remedies. There's not like showing what it means exactly, but the Sefer that through that they were able to cure themselves and heal themselves. And people were starting to rely on that as opposed to daven to Hashem. So Chizkiyahu Melech hid it so that the people would instead they would daven to Hashem for the Refuas and Yeshuas. And he was praised for that. So remember this, my Maisim Taivim, and save me on account of that. Now we're going to divert a little bit to now discuss the Maisim Taivim that Chizkiyahu Melech did in that regard. So we're going to digress and now talk about these Maisim Taivim. Ton Rabbanan, Shisha Dvarim also Chizkiyahu Melech. There were 6 notable things that Chizkiyahu Melech did. Al Gimel Haidulov, Al Gimel Loy Haidulov. On 3 of them the Chachamim praised, and for 3 things they did not praise. Al Gimel Haidulov, for 3 they praised him. 1 was going to say for Refuas, like we just mentioned. V'Haidul, they praised him. Kites Nachash and Achoshes, in the midbar, when there was the snake bites and from the serpents. So Moshe Rabbeinu made the Nachash and Achoshes. And through that, they were able to be cured and healed from the venom, from the poison, from the bites. And again, the same idea that people started to look at that as the source of the cure. They started to make it into a kishiv, and therefore Chazkiyahu Melech hid it. He ground it up, actually. He crushed it so that people would not make this into a kishiv and they would daven to Hashem. And he was praised. He was praised for that. That was also considered praiseworthy. Girer when his father died, so he did not afford him the kavod of the malachim that malachim normally have. He didn't take him out for burial on a mita of kiseh and zav. He did not bury him that way. He took him out on a mita of chavalim, of ropes, because his father was a Rasha, and therefore he did not want to give him that kavod, the kavod of malachim. And the Chachamim praise him for that. And some of the portions speak out that he did it also for the taiva of his father, as that since he would not have that kavod, the kavod of malachim, therefore he would be able to have a measure of olam haba, and that would be a kapara for his averis. So that would be a kapara for his averis, and therefore his father, Achaz, who was a Rasha, would get a kapara for that. So these are the three that he was praised for. Val Gimaloi Hoidaloi until he was not praised. Also the well of Gichan, as Rashi points out, this is not the large river Gichan, which wasn't even Eretz Yisrael. This was a well called Gichan. When he was being attacked by Sancherib's armies, he did not want them to have a source of water, so he closed it up, he blocked it up, so that it would not have water. And the Chum did not praise that because they felt that he should have relied on Hashem for Yeshua. There was a nevuah that there would be a Yeshua from Hashem. He should have relied on that. When Melech Ashur was attacking initially, so he bribed him and he gave him gold and silver so that they would leave them in peace. He emptied out all the treasuries and it was not sufficient, so he cut down, the pshatim one is he cut down actually the doors of the heichal, which were made out of gold, and he sent it to them. Alternatively, he stripped the gold from the doors and sent it to him. And the Chacham did not praise that because, again, he should have relied on Hashem. He was ma'aver the Chodesh Nisan, so at this point we're assuming is when the Chodesh Nisan already came, they're already into the month of Nisan. He decided at that point to make an Iber year, to make a leap year, and to make the prior month to make it a other Sheni, so to now, even though they already proclaimed Nisan, to turn it into an other Sheni and make it into a leap year. And they did not praise that. They did not agree with that. In fact, the Gemara, how could Chizkiyahu have done that? I mean, less than Chizkiyahu. This is Nisan Vein Acher Nisan. So how could then, when they already proclaimed this month to be Nisan, how could they now reverse that? Hello, the Gemara says no. It's not like we previously assumed. It's not that they were already into the month of Nisan and then they reversed it and they turned it into other Sheni. His mistake was that he did not agree or did not realize Shmuel's did, which was the Amar Shmuel Ein Ma'avir Nefesh Hashanah B'Yom Shloshim Shel Adar. Even on the 30th day of Adar, even there you don't make it an Iber year. Why? Because that day, every month, a lunar month is either 29 days or 30 days. If it's a Chodesh Chaser, so what would be the 30th day is now the first day of the next month. If it's a Chodesh Moleh, it's the first full month, then it's the last day, the 30th day of the prior month. Now, the 30th day of Adar, if they theoretically could proclaim it, if they see the moon, that could be proclaimed as the new month, as the month of Nisan. So what happened was, which was the 30th day of Adar, on that day Chizkiyahu Melech made it into Adar Sheni. The Chachamim disagreed because they held like Shmuel that since this day could be a day of Nisan, theoretically could be the first day of Nisan, that even a month that could be Nisan cannot be switched, and you cannot make it into another month. So you cannot proclaim Adar Sheni on a day that could be already Nisan. So Hoil V'Orikav Nisan. Savra Hoil V'Royal Lo Yamin, and Chizkiyahu Melech did not agree with that svar. He said, Seif Kol Seif, it is still Adar. Since it's still Adar, I can make it into an Adar Sheni. But the Chum didn't agree. They disagreed because they held that since this day already is now, this day could be proclaimed as Nisan, you cannot make it into Adar Sheni. Anyone who makes he davens and he says that Hashem should grant him his wishes because of his chuyas, because of what great deeds that he did, even if his tefillah is answered, but it's answered for the schos, because of the schos of others, not because of him. If he makes it dependent and he says he should be answered because of his chuyas, even if it's answered, it's not granted because of his chuyas, is granted for others. And a great person who has chuyas, but nevertheless he makes it dependent, he wants his tefillah to be answered because of the schos of others, then they answer him and they give credit to him. Moshe daven, and he asks that he should be answered for the schos of others. He asked that he should be answered the schos of the Avos. So he was answered, and it was answered in his schos. Right, he was answered, and it was answered in his schos that there would have been a destruction had it not been for Moshe Rabbeinu that he stepped into the breach, and therefore he stepped into the breach to close it up and save it. Chizkiyahu was told in his own schos, remember how I went before you. My schos told he was granted, his tefillos were answered, but not in his schos. It was made it dependent because of the schos of others. For the sake of Dovid HaMelech. Even the time of peace, even the time when he was given Shalom, the Kodesh Baruch Hu answered his tefillos, it's still mar li mar. There's an element of bitterness because it's marhuli. It's mar for him because he was made it dependent not for his chuyos. It was answered because of the schutz of Dovid. So we mentioned that he was toila. He said that the Nasr Elisha. He said Nasala ala ir katana. That Nasalias ir katana. We talked about the shunamis. And we talked about the shunamis, and that she did that schus for Elisha, that she made him a dwelling. So, and they made a dwelling for him, and that was the schus, and she was zoicha to tchias mason for her son. So now we want to discuss in some detail what was the ma'isa, what was the chesed that she did for Elisha with the kir. So Rav Shmuel Haramar Aliyah Pua Haisav V'Kiru. One says that there was an attic, and she covered it over. She put a roof on it, and she made a dwelling place, a lodging place for Elisha. That if he was traveling, he could stay there. So one says no, it was a hall. It was a large room, not an attic, and it wasn't covered over with a roof. And she made a partition. She made a partition and split into two and gave him one apartment, one area to live. So Bishlam Laman the Amar Achsadra Hainu Dachsiv Kir. The one who says an Achsadra, we understand that it's a kir, it's a wall. She made a partition, it's a wall. Elaman Damarli, the one who says that it's a second level, and that it's the upper level, my kir. It wasn't a wall. More answers, kirua means, the kirua means covering, it doesn't mean a wall, it means a roof. Made a roof on the attic, they covered it over, kirua. So we understand why it says in the pasuk Nasana Aliyah's kir. There was a second level, an upper level, and that's why it says Aliyah. But if it's an Achsadra, it's not an upper level. So why did we say Aliyah's? More answers. It means Aliyah's means on one of the higher quality. Aliyah doesn't mean second level, it means higher level of quality. It was a very fine dwelling. So she said to her husband, let us put over there the furniture, etc. And the menorah, if some we see from here that if a person wants to take benefit from others, it's permissible. Like we see Elisha, he got this benefit from the Shunamis. But if someone doesn't want to, it's not considered gaivadik, it's not considered arrogant and haughty, he can refrain, like we see by Shmuel Hanavi. He used to circle Klal Yisrael, he used to go around and judge them and go around there Israel, but return to his home in Roma because that was where his house was. So what does it say, Kisham Beis? And we know if he went back to his Ramasa, that was his home. It says Kisham Beis of Amar Yecham Shekol Makom Shalach Sham Beisim. Sham Beis, everywhere, his house was with him everywhere, not only when he went back to Rama, everywhere was with him because he took all his provisions with him. He did not want to partake from anyone else's kindness. He was not nana from the Bria. So you see that both approaches are permissible. The Forsham asks, in Pirkei Avos it says, a person should not get benefit, not take matanas from other people. Here we see that in both cases permissible. So someone in Marsha wants to answer that a traveler is considered an ani. If a person is an ani, it's permissible. What the Pirkei Avos means, it means if a person doesn't need it, and he takes matanas, and nevertheless, then sein matanas yichya, that is, if a person doesn't need it, he shouldn't take it. He shouldn't take it. Sodik says that if with the Torah it says it's a mitzvah, like to be mefarnes aniyim, to be mefarnes kaihanim, talmidei chachamim, then it's permissible, and therefore it's a mitzvah to be mefarnes the navi. Perhaps we can also answer is it depends on the circumstances. If the one who's giving it will be insulted if you don't accept it. If it's a greater chesed, if it's a chesed to accept, then it's permissible to accept. Perhaps we can say that, even under other circumstances. And here, the Isha Shunom is so much wanted to give it, so it was permissible. If a person sees that by declining the gift, the one who wants to give it, the donor, is going to be hurt and insulted, it's a chesed to accept it, so therefore you should accept it. Continue on with the Ma'aseh el Isha Hinena Yadazki Ish Elikim Kodoshu. She said to her husband that I see this person, he didn't know it was Elisha Navi. We see that she said, I see that this person is a holy man. You see that she said it to him. So the woman of the home, she is more discerning in guests than the man. She has a better understanding of the house, the guests, the people that come by, etc. And she has Bina Yisera in this regard, and therefore she understands more than he does. Kodesh, she said that he's Kodesh. Meno Yoda, how did she know that he was holy, that he was Kodesh? She didn't see a fly that passed over his table. As before, she say the shulchan of a tzaddik is like a mizbeach. So just like a mizbeach, the flies did not fly over the mizbeach. Here also, it was like a mizbeach. He was holy. She had sheets on his bed, sheets made of fine linen. And there was no tum on it. Kodesh who? He is Kodesh. Amar Rabbi Yosef Brachot, who Kodesh? Kodesh who? He is Kodesh. Umishar saying a Kodesh, but his Shamas, Gehazi was not Kodesh. Vayigash Gehazi lahatfot. So Gehazi came to literally means pusher. Amar Rabbi Yosef Brachot, she'achsa b'hod yafya. So it means he grabbed onto her. He grabbed onto her beauty. So he was not proper. Oivar Aleno told me, she said he passes regularly, passes this way. Amar Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov, Kol Amar Talmid Chacham B'Seich Beisai. Anyone who takes as a guest in a Talmid Chacham my name and a Chasav, and he benefits him from his Nachasim, Malav Chasav, Kilo Makriv, to meet him. It's like he's Makriv a Korban Tomid. It's like he's Makriv a Korban Tomid. So it says in the pasuk, Oivar Alenu Tomid. So it's like a Korban Tomid, right? That's it. Didn't have to say if it stressed the Tomid. It's like he's marked of a Korban Tomid. He should not stand on a high place. Another member from the same Andomer. It's not related, but a person davens, he should not stand on a high place in daven el b'makom nomach v'yispal. He should stand on a lower place in daven. I call out to you from the depths of my heart, but also from a lower physical place. He should not stand on a chair, not on a stool, not on a high place in daven, rather b'makom nomach v'yispal. The fish ain't gavus le'amakam. Right? There's nothing high. You're saying on a high place, you think you're coming higher, close to Hashem. Relative to Hashem, this is all nothingness. It's not a high place. It's a tefillah la'ani when he wraps himself. So a person has to always look at himself when he davens. He always should view himself as being a poor person, and low down, a poor person, not in any way guy with it. Another member. When he davens, he has to have his legs together. It's like a malachim who have like one leg. It's not two separate legs. Don't eat on the blood. Don't daven before you don't eat before you daven for your life. You're davening for your life. So don't eat before you mispalel for your dam, for your blood. If a person first eats and drinks and then davens, all of you threw me after your gavecha, I'll take your gavecha, ela geecha, your gaiva. You satisfy yourself, you pamper yourself, and then you come to me. First you come to Hashem, and then you take care of your needs. Now the Mishnah said we had the machlekes in Krishma Shel Shachris. When does it end? Rav Yeshua says you have until the 3 hours, the end of the third hour of the day. Rav Yeshua, that's the halacha. If he recites Krishma beyond that time, he's not mafsid. It's like he's kair b'tayr. He doesn't have the mitzvah of Krishma, but he has a mitzvah like kair b'tayr. And it says it's after 3 hours already. It's late into the day. You cannot say the birchas Krishma of Yetzer Or. I'll ask you a kasha. It says he recites Krishma, he's not like kind of the mitzvah of Krishma, it's like he's karbatera. Aval, however, but he could make the birchas Krishma. So you see, he's not lost. That's Yufta, the Rav Hofstedter Yufta. It's a kasha of Hofstedter. You see, even after the third hour, he can say the birchas Krishma, at least until Chatzos, but after the third hour, I'll call upon him, he still could say Birchos Krishma. Ikadam, another version of this, no, Rav Chis said he has not lost his Lo Yifsid. It says Lo Yifsid, but he says Krishma, it means he did not lose the brachos. Tanya Nameach, and to this we bring a proof, I bring a right. Tanya Nameach, Kar Mikan V'Leich Lo Yifsid, Karam Shekar B'Tayr, Aval Mavarach Ushtaim L'Fanev, Achas La'Achareh. So you see clearly that you could say the Berachos Krishma. Amravmani Godol Akara Krishna Boyinosa, it's greater the one who says Krishna in the proper time. Yesem Yesek B'Torah, more than being Yesek B'Torah, Midiktani Karmikan Ve'ilach, Leihifsid, Karmakar B'Torah. If it says, if he recites it past the Zman, later than the Zman, it's like he is Kair B'Torah. Michlal, we infer from there, the Kair B'Torah, if he had recited in its proper time, or if it's more than Kair B'Torah. And Taisus points out, well, what do you mean? A person has to stop learning, to daven as well. So it's not only Krishma, if he has a mitzvah to perform, he has to stop the learning. What it means, however, Taisus says, is that Avada, when the Zman Krishma comes, he has to stop his learning to say Krishma. But what it means is that when he's Kaira, Krishna, Vainosa, it's greater than a person who's learning Torah not Bizman Krishna, outside Bizman Krishna, during another time of the day, when he's not Mechuyev in the mitzvah, but when he's Kaira, Krishna, Vainosa, it's greater than learning Torah in a different time of the day.